Hello everyone, Eddie here again with another video, and what I want to talk about is the fiasco at the White House on this past Friday. President Zelensky along with President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, and how that whole thing was just crazy. I want to actually show a video and break it down and then show maybe one of the things that happened in the aftermath. So I'll most likely be, I will be pausing the video and discussing it. So let's just jump right into it.
War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either.
Okay, let me just pause right here. So he has extreme hatred for Putin, and he can understand that. First of all, I don't believe that President Trump can understand that. And second, I definitely can understand the hatred. I mean, Putin invaded Ukraine. He's caused the countless loss of life. He's raped women. He's kidnapped children. He's bombed critical infrastructure. What's there not to hate? I mean, as a human, wouldn't we want to be protective of things that we own or that we have? And here you got some invader coming in and putting a wrecking ball on that. So I could actually see how Zelensky is a little bit visibly irritated at that, because that really is an ignorant thing to say. But let's continue.
So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden, of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
So before we get into Zelensky's response, I just want to talk about what J.D. Vance said. First and foremost, I'm going to issue a challenge to anyone watching this video. If you can, be so kind as to show me an example where a vice president interjects himself into the conversation when the president is meeting with another head of state. And you can use any example. Just I would love to hear an example, because I can't recall any time where Kamala Harris did that. I can't recall where Joe Biden did that to Barack Obama. Heck, for that matter, I can't even seem to recall where Mike Pence did that to Donald Trump. So J.D. Vance just interjected himself in there and takes a swipe at the prior administration. So let's watch Zelensky's response.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, parts of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014?
Yeah. So
I was,
he killed.
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking.
So before I kind of unpack parts of his answer, let me first just say that, just so everyone is aware, that English is Zelensky's third language. So he's actually been able to process what was asked of him, and he's given specific points showing how they did sign treaties with Russia and how Russia still violated what was signed. So basically asking J.D. Vance, what diplomacy should we do? And he did it in a very respectful manner. And again, I have to say, it's impressive when you find out that English is his third language that he has learned.
About the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are...
Okay, so I got to pause right there. So, Mr. Vice President, with all due respect, I think it's bad that you're actually trying to litigate this in the media because you brought this up. He was just responding to your question. And now he hit you with the facts. And now you're going to take this, oh, he's being disrespectful and he's trying to take on a show, instead of just realizing that you are really ill-equipped for your job. I'm not sure what you are supposed to be doing.
Going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President.
Translation, I have never been to Ukraine. I do not know how it looks with the war torn going on, but I'm still going to argue my point with indignation, righteousness.
Do you disagree that you've had problems
What?
bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's
I will
respectful
answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I
of the
will
United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
So before Zelensky get in there, when J.D. Vance just asked him, do you think you have problems? He said, yes, we have problems. So take a note. This is someone who actually will admit when they're wrong or will admit when there are problems.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You will
Don't-
not
you
have
gotta-
war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
we're
I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to...
A lot to unpack here. So both Trump and Vance are trying to tag team Zelensky. And what Zelensky is saying is that we're separated by an ocean. So we're kind of far removed from that. Trump says, you can't dictate to us how we're going to feel. So let me break it down into a little bit bite size. We belong to a thing called NATO. And in NATO, the motto is an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. It's been around for 80 years, and it was only called upon one time. One time and one time only. And that was with the United States after September 11th, where we asked our allies to help us go after the people who bombed the United States, who performed terrorist attacks on the United States. So, if Ukraine falls and then Russia is feeling, I guess, a little froggy or feeling like they can't be stopped and they attack one of our NATO allies, per this treaty, we are obligated to put boots on the ground and to help them. That is, of course, unless our president pulls us out of NATO. If he pulls us out of NATO, then more than likely, I'm really not trying to be hyperbolic, and I guess I need to go over like military tactics in another video, but if we get pulled out of NATO, even though we're the strongest country on the face of the earth, if our enemies systematically wipe out our allies and then turn their attention on us, there's only so long that we can withstand something like that. And this is rich coming from President Trump, who did not serve because of bone spurs. Just remember that.
Dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't have. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you.
Okay, I just want to make sure, are we all in agreement that Trump is kind of shouting at him? His voice is elevated. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And if you think I'm wrong, please leave a comment.
Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America.
J.D. Vance is truly a rationale of why some people should not enter politics, because he really is getting it wrong. Zelensky has not apologized. Zelensky has thanked the American people over and over and over again. He's thanked Congress. He's thanked the United States. Whoever has been in office, he has thanked them. And yet, J.D. Vance wants him to thank him right here, right then and there. Because if he hasn't did it, then some kind of way he's being disrespectful to the White House or to United States. I'm not sure what J.D. Vance is thinking.
And the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loud.
So, with my ears, it did sound like J.D. Vance was speaking loudly. And as you can tell that both J.D. Vance and Trump are tag teaming Zelensky. And I also want you to also keep in mind that, again, this is Zelensky's third language. So he's having to translate. And he's doing an excellent job.
Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute.
answer?
No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance.
Can we at least all agree on the fact that this is not how you treat your allies? That if there was going to be some heated discussion like this, This should have happened behind closed doors. That's what the norm would have been. Could we see that this is a train wreck?
It's
We
coming
are
out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment.
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West
If
Indies?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days.
So you could tell Zelensky is getting irritated, and his voice is getting elevated as well.
This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks. Of course he has.
It's going to be a very
I don't understand what our president is talking about. Maybe less, because the war was going to end in 3 days. Maybe less. The war's been going on for 3 years. What are you talking about? What is it? 99. I know you are, but what am I? I mean, are you just throwing out stuff? This is embarrassing.
hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that
thank
there,
you
accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements.
Now, this is the loudest I've heard Zelensky, and I can see why he's doing that, because it's true. He has thanked the American people multiple times. And for J.D. Vance to insinuate otherwise is rather offensive.
And let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong.
Again, sometimes I think like we might be on different earths, but J.D. Vance, you brought it up. Zelensky wasn't bringing this up in this press conference. You brought it up. And since he slapped you down, now you're trying to make it seem like he's the one trying to bring it up and cause some type of strife.
We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long.
Stop the press. Stop the press, everyone. I agree with Donald Trump for this one. He actually is correct. It is good that the American people see what's going on. They can see with their own two eyes how Trump and Vance are tag teaming Zelensky, how this is really some type of ambush or setup.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
But this
That
is
was
your-
with, that-
There we go again. We had to have that swipe at Biden because, Joe Biden is living rent-free in his head, apparently. So we just go ahead and have that swipe. But do we really want to treat our allies like this? Seriously, can anyone show me a video where Trump was this aggressive toward one of our normal enemies? I'm looking at Russia or any of the other aggressive. Can anyone show me where he was aggressive like this toward them? Where he sat down next to them and was the quote-unquote tough guy?
That was with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets.
It should be pretty crowded in Trump's head because apparently Obama's living rent-free there as well. Talking about javelin versus sheets. Any dig at Obama. So just one thing to kind of fact check is that, yes, President Trump gave Zelensky javelins. And President Trump did not want to give Zelensky javelins. He tried to withhold the javelins. Actually, that's part of the reason why he was first impeached. Because he was trying to get some type of, do this for me and then I will give you what you need.
In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. Sorry,
It'll
here.
be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what if
She's asking.
Russia-
So, one of the things that I want to point out is that Marco Rubio is to the left of J.D. Vance. And notice how small and how he has his hands clasped in his lap. Yep. You would have think Marco Rubio would have did something or said something, but
What if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
Well, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
weapons to
What if they
fire.
broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But all-
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting.
okay, so I have to interject. Can we please stop talking about Hunter Biden and his laptop and how it's disgusting? Especially coming out of the mouth of our president who actually paid an adult star hush money that he slept with her while his wife was pregnant. Sir, you cannot take the high ground on that. Sorry, you just can't do it. Can we talk about our president who has 34 felony counts? He's been indicted 34 times. You cannot take the high ground. I'm sorry. Leave Hunter Biden alone. Please leave him alone. Because this is just plain crazy.
And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we...
He's not thankful. Or should I loathe to be the Trump translator, but should I be, you're not licking my boots, or you're not groveling towards me, telling me how important it is for me to give you the assistance. This is really sad. I mean, this is downright embarrassing to treat an ally like this. And I definitely think this was completely staged, because again, I don't know of any other example where a vice president interjects themselves in there. So I think they planned for this media moment, but I don't think it turned out quite the way they wanted to, which is why I'm going to jump to what happened the next day when J.D. Vance tried to take his family on vacation skiing in Vermont.
Yeah, there are a lot out of
So unfortunately, J.D. Vance and his family had to go to a undisclosed location, and their ski trip was, I guess, postponed, as a lot of people in Vermont were very unhappy with how he treated the Ukrainian president. And I get a little chuckle out of that because, I feel like that actually really did break through. That people saw how they mistreated Zelensky. And one of the things that I want to just touch on is that I want to go back to the fact that Zelensky actually, he English is his third language, but he had a good mastery and he was able to articulate his points. That even though he's actually, physically smaller than both Trump and J.D. Vance, in my eyes, he looked like a giant. Like he just had that feeling of being a giant. And if I want to translate him to somebody else, I would say he might have been David. That he was definitely able to hold his own. But I just feel like this is really disrespectful to treat an ally like this. And just at a loss of words. It's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. At any rate, that's just my opinion. Love to hear yours in the comments section. And if you keep watching these videos, I'll keep producing them. Thanks.